Hi, I'm Michael Robinson, and this is SMPTE 2017, and we're live. I'm with the Executive Director of SMPTE and also the Executive Director of HPA, and her name is Barbara Lange. Barbara, what is HPA?
HPA is the Hollywood Professional Association. It's an organization, it's about 25 years old or so. Came together with SMPTE a couple of years ago, actually. And one can describe them as the organization that it's the creative community that applies the technology into these workflows, in the production workflow. So where SMPTE is developing the technology, the engineering, that hardcore stuff, the HPA community are those who are applying it in the craft of editing, color, audio, sound. So it's that yin yang of the production workflow.
So we just had an amazing luncheon about women in the workplace, women in production, women in television and production. And I think one of the things that I took away from it is the fact that obviously there's not enough women in television or behind the scenes. What did you take away from this whole interview or this whole luncheon that you had?
Yeah, so it's the fifth one that we've done, and each year they get, I think, better and better because the topics are very timely. So Madeline Denono, who is the CEO of the Gina Davis Institute for Gender and Media, came to talk to us about what her institute is doing to promote, through data, through evidential data, the fact that there is a lack of diversity on the screen, whether it's television or movies, in terms of women in acting roles and in speaking parts and things of that sort. And I think it's using real data. I think now we can act upon it. And so my greatest takeaway is how do we work together as a community, as an industry, to now take this real data and evolve what we know in terms of production. So these tools can be used now by studios and broadcasters and content creators to analyze how they are doing in terms of gender diversity. Sure. And not only gender, but I think it goes into the other aspects of diversity that I think we all have to care about. So it's an exciting opportunity. The strength of the technology in terms of big data collection, because that's what it is now can be put to good use.
I think it complements what you had this morning in terms of artificial intelligence, right? You talked about that from a production standpoint and being able to recognize information and make course correction in terms of how we live our lives, the choices we make, how we treat each other, right? Ultimately is the key behind what we're doing. How do you think that this can be applied to the real world in terms of how women are in the workplace, not just in film and production, but in the workplace?
Well, I think it's a constant conversation. It's a constant conversation. I find myself in my role often one of very few women in the room. And so it's a constant conversation, not just within our industry where we are right now, but also with young women even in grade school age, in high school and in colleges, to encourage them that a career in a technical side of the business, because after all that's what our SMPTE's focus is, as is HPA's, is to make sure that it's a welcoming place for women to have a great career. And so I think without constantly talking about it, things don't change. And we've seen that in recent news these days, and I think that's what it needs to be, is moving the needle forward all the time. And seeing women in leadership roles that young girls can identify with is really important. And I think that's exactly what Madeline was talking about today.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more, because visibility is so important. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have children, young children, and they're limited to what they see, either on television or in their own environments. So being able to see people like yourself who have actually climbed the ladder of an organization and is leading it is in of itself a very impressive thing. So I celebrate you, I celebrate what you're doing and what you're doing here, and I congratulate you again on this amazing event, and all the best to you.
Well, thank you very much, and I should say that I am where I am because of the good help of many, many others, including men and women, and I'm grateful to where I have come, but there's so much more work to do, and I think these are the steps that need to be taken to make those changes. So thank you very much for coming and being a part of it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Barbara Lange, Executive Director of SMPTE. We're right here live at 2017 SMPTE, produced by Broadcast Beat. I'm Michael Robinson.